Yo.
No, the things that you've lied about, you don't want them out, okay? Now, since you think it's funny to speak about people's family, we'll all join in. We'll all play the reindeer games.
Oh, honey, looks like Nicki Minaj wasn't just throwing shade when she called out Jay-Z as the real villain in the music industry. She knew something was up, and now Jay-Z is getting exposed for allegedly assaulting a 13-year-old girl. And guess what? People are out here saying Nicki called it. She's been talking about him for months, warning everyone, and at the time, people were telling her to shut up, even telling her she was making herself a target. Remember that tweet she posted last year? Tried to tell y'all, but y'all wanted brunch LMFAO, I'm on an FE row. And the number 13 she tweeted? That was the age of the victim, and she wasn't just being petty. She was giving us all a little tea. But at the time, no one was trying to hear it. Now things are really coming to light, and it turns out Jay-Z didn't just get into it with Nicki over some industry drama. Apparently, he scammed her out of a cool $8.9 million in a deal, and since then, she's been gunning for him. And with these new assault allegations, Nicki is not holding back. She's letting everyone know how she feels about Jay-Z now. And let's just say, people are totally on her side. So, in case you've been living under a rock, Jay-Z is in serious trouble. He's been accused of assaulting a 13-year-old girl, and this whole thing is blowing up. A few months ago, Tony Busby, the famous Texas attorney, held a press conference and said he'd be representing over 120 victims of Diddy. He warned us that some of the names in the lawsuit would shock us. And, well, surprise. Jay-Z's name is on the list. The original lawsuit filed in October didn't name Jay-Z, but after a failed attempt to settle the case privately, the lawsuit was amended, and now Jay-Z's in the hot seat. According to the lawsuit, this girl claims that Jay-Z and Diddy assaulted her at an after-party for the 2000 MTV Music Awards. She says they took turns assaulting her for hours, while an unnamed female celebrity just watched and even recorded the whole thing. Crazy, right? And how did she even get there? Well, she snuck out of her house to go to the MTV Awards. But when she didn't have a ticket, she reached out to the limo drivers outside for help. One of Diddy's drivers allegedly told her, "You fit what Diddy was looking for," and drove her straight to the after-party. Once there, she was given drinks that made her feel lightheaded, and that's when things took a dark turn. She says that Jay-Z and Diddy came into the room, and Diddy said, "You ready to party?" That's when Jay-Z allegedly stripped her clothes off and assaulted her while Diddy and a female celebrity just stood by. But the girl wasn't totally helpless. She says she was able to fight back at one point, hitting Diddy in the neck and running out to a nearby gas station where her dad picked her up. Now, when this all dropped, nobody was really shocked. There have been rumors swirling about Jay-Z being involved with young girls for years, and his friendships with R. Kelly and Diddy have always raised eyebrows. At the time the allegations against Jay-Z came out, he even did a joint album with R. Kelly, and that was right when all the R. Kelly drama was exploding. People are saying there's no way Jay-Z didn't know what Diddy was up to all these years. And let's be real, these two have stayed close for decades, probably because they both have dirt on each other. One person even said that the only explanation for Jay-Z and Diddy still being friends is that they're both cut from the same cloth. And of course, here comes Nicki Minaj again. After everything went down, people couldn't help but bring up her warnings about Jay-Z. She's been saying it all along, and now it's clear that she wasn't just talking, she was telling the truth all along. Nicki Minaj has been trying to warn us about Jay-Z for years, but no one really took her seriously. They assumed she was just throwing shade because of her issues with Megan, who has strong ties to both Jay-Z and Beyoncé. While that might have contributed to her feelings, Nicki was in Jay-Z's circle long before Megan even considered being a rapper. She's been around and knows much more than anyone realized. And her issues with him go way beyond just Megan being signed to Roc Nation. For instance, Nicki never attended any of Jay-Z's Roc Nation brunches, despite being very close to Beyoncé and being invited every year. It's almost as if she already knew something shady was going on behind the scenes, and she wanted no part in it. Earlier this year, during her feud with Megan, Nicki took things further by calling out Jay-Z. She accused him of trying to sabotage her career so he could replace her with Megan.
If that Roc Nation brunch got you feeling like you could talk about my family, and I have a 3-year-old innocent child, have had my home swatted twice with drawn, they magically, no one seemed to find the person.
Nicki tweeted about Jay-Z and Roc Nation's president Desiree Perez, accusing them of destroying people's lives and spending millions to silence her about what she knows. She even said that in her next song, she was going to reveal how Desiree allegedly fired people for unclear reasons. Nicki hinted that so many people had been hurt by Roc Nation's actions, and it seemed like they were willing to do anything to replace her. But her issues with Jay-Z had been brewing long before the Megan drama. For example, last year when Nicki was preparing to release Pink Friday 2, she had a heated exchange with Elliott Wilson after he criticized her for appearing in a live stream with K-Cinet. Nicki fired back, saying, "Elliott, if you'd stop sucking Jay-Z's you-know-what for 1 second, you'd be able to celebrate newcomers." She also called out the way people tried to tarnish her image by claiming she wasn't welcoming to other Black female artists.
You know how many tweets I've seen you post disrespecting me, Idiot Wilson? All of y'all, for some reason, when y'all are around certain people, y'all feel that y'all have this power. Why? When y'all have an affiliation to Jay-Z in some sort of way, y'all be thinking that y'all can disrespect and violate.
Adding fuel to the fire, Storm Monroe, a popular YouTube blogger, revealed that Jay-Z might have been behind a lot of the drama. He reported that there was someone on Nicki's team who was allegedly being paid by Roc Nation to feed them information about Nicki's every move. That's how the Dutch police knew about Nicki's luggage before she even arrived. It was all a setup to discredit her and sabotage her tour.
That allegedly Jay-Z and Roc Nation is behind this. Jay-Z and Roc Nation has been after Nicki for a while, especially after she released that song Bigfoot. But even long before then, there had been beef, which I did not realize. So from what I'm being told, let me read the intel as it's coming in. Was trying to get her arrested, but of course legally. That's why they waited till she was overseas to do this to her. Roc Nation wanted to make sure that when she got arrested or apprehended for whatever, because you know in the industry they can get you set up with all kinds of charges. All right. It said that they wanted to make sure her husband was not with her because her husband is her protection, which we know that, but we know bankrupt Nicki. And this is why there has been several stories planted about her being broke, going broke, or needing to constantly tour because she's close to being broke. So set up and sabotage. And if I was Nicki, I would fire my whole team. Fire the whole security team. There is a mole. Get rid of them all. There is a mole. Because now that I think about it, Roc Nation got Meg. The only competition that Nicki has is Meg. Let's keep it real. It ain't Lotto. It ain't Mocha Latte. What's the other rappers out here? There's nobody. It ain't Cardi. I know y'all wanted it to be Cardi. It ain't Cardi. She was absolutely set up. Also, Tory Lanez was supposed to sign the Roc Nation first, and the second option was Meg. See? But y'all remember when Tory Lanez's daddy said, "This is Roc Nation," we all thought he was crazy.
More recently, when Jay-Z snubbed Lil Wayne for performing at the Super Bowl, Nicki dragged him again. She spilled the tea about how Jay-Z allegedly scammed her out of $8.9 million when he sold Tidal to Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. When Tidal was owned by Jay-Z, he signed several artists including Nicki, Madonna, Alicia Keys, Lil Wayne, Rihanna, and Beyoncé as co-owners with 1.5% ownership each. The idea was that they would promote Tidal to their fans and sometimes released exclusive music on the platform. But when Jay-Z secretly sold Tidal to Dorsey for $297 million in 2021, he promised the co-owners $8.9 million for their share. The problem is, Nicki revealed that she never saw a penny of that money. She claimed that Jay-Z made up the story about the payout to avoid backlash for selling Tidal without telling the artists. One person on TikTok commented that everyone who had 1.5% ownership got paid. But Nicki responded, "I didn't even get one red penny when no one promoted it more than me outside of Beyoncé." This only reinforces that Nicki had been warning people about Jay-Z's fraudulent behavior and shady business moves for a long time. But no one was paying attention. Now, with the new lawsuit, people are looking back at everything Nicki said, and it's becoming clear she wasn't lying about Jay-Z's antics. Jay-Z's response to the sexual assault allegations has done little to quell the public storm around him. His statement, which denies all accusations, has only served to spark more suspicion and outrage. In it, he claims that the demand letter from Tony Busby was nothing more than an attempt at blackmail, suggesting that the lawyer's intention was to exploit the public attention surrounding the allegations to force a settlement. Boostes, Jay-Z insists that this only made him more determined to expose what he calls the fraudulence of the entire situation. He declares that he won't give in to the pressure and will not pay a penny, stating that the only thing he's heartbroken about is the impact this will have on his family. He's especially concerned about how this might affect his children, who are at an age where their friends will likely see the press and ask questions. This, he says, has stolen yet another part of their innocence. He concludes with a statement of defiance, emphasizing that he's not like other celebrities. His roots in Brooklyn, he says, make him fundamentally different from the people behind these allegations. And he's eager to show just how far he's come. But the public's reaction is far from supportive. There's a growing sense that Jay-Z's public stance is a calculated move to protect his image, and many people are pointing to Nicki Minaj's long-standing criticism of him as the key to understanding what's really going on. Nicki, who has been calling out Jay-Z's shady behavior for years, seems to have known something that others didn't, or chose not to see. As one person put it, the fact that Jay-Z is being dragged into this scandal now, on Nicki's birthday no less, feels like poetic justice. Fans are starting to connect the dots, realizing that Nicki has been ahead of the curve all along. Her vocal stance against Jay-Z isn't just about jealousy or industry rivalry. It seems to be a warning, a heads up about the shady dealings and manipulations that were happening behind closed doors. Some speculate that Jay-Z's rise to power and the push to elevate artists like Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B had less to do with talent and more to do with a calculated effort to sideline Nicki Minaj, who was seen as a direct threat to their industry dominance. With Megan's ties to Roc Nation and Cardi B's rise to fame backed by the likes of Atlantic Records and others aligned with Jay-Z, some people believe that Nicki was being deliberately pushed out of the narrative. They argue that Jay-Z's influence in the industry played a significant role in shaping the way these artists were marketed and promoted, all while trying to undermine Nicki's success. Nicki, ever the fighter, has made it clear that she's not afraid to expose these truths. In recent rants, she's shared how Jay-Z scammed her out of millions in the Tidal deal, adding another layer to her already complicated relationship with him. She revealed that, despite being one of the key promoters of the platform, she was never paid the $8.9 million promised to the co-owners when Jay-Z sold Tidal to Jack Dorsey in 2021. While other artists received their share, Nicki claims she was left out, despite her efforts in helping to build the brand. And in a direct jab at Jay-Z's business practices, Nicki didn't hold back. She called him out for lying about the co-owner's compensation, exposing what she calls his fraudulent behavior. As the lawsuit against Jay-Z unfolds and the media continues to buzz with new details, it's becoming harder for people to ignore Nicki's warnings. Her consistent criticism of Jay-Z is being revisited, and fans who once dismissed her claims as mere industry drama are starting to question whether she was right all along. Whether or not the allegations hold any weight remains to be seen. But it's clear that Jay-Z's public image is now under intense scrutiny, and his past actions are being revisited in a way that could change the way fans and the public view him. With Nicki Minaj leading the charge, it's hard to deny that she's been calling out these issues for years, and now it seems that the truth may finally be catching up with him. Jay-Z recently released a statement denying the allegations of sexual assault, but as expected, no one is buying it, and people are still dragging his name through the mud. In the statement, Jay-Z's lawyer claimed they received a blackmail attempt in the form of a demand letter from Tony Busby, the lawyer handling the case. The lawyer stated that the aim was to use the public nature of the allegations and the intense scrutiny to pressure him into settling. However, Jay-Z said that the allegations only fueled his desire to expose the situation publicly, calling the whole thing a fraud. He also made it clear that he wouldn't pay a dime and expressed his heartbreak for his family, especially for his children who would have to deal with the press and the questions their friends would surely ask. He mourned the loss of his family's innocence and took a moment to criticize the nature of the claims, suggesting that the people behind them had made a huge mistake in underestimating him. He proudly pointed out that he's not like other celebrities, that he's a young man who came from the projects of Brooklyn, and he's determined to prove how different he is from the rest. Of course, the public has their own opinions about this. Some believe that Jay-Z's downfall is linked to Nicki Minaj's warnings about his shady behavior. One person mentioned that Nicki had been calling him out for years, pointing out how Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B started getting pushed into the spotlight as a way to force Nicki out of the industry. Another person remarked how ironic it was that Jay-Z might be getting cancelled on Nicki Minaj's birthday, especially after trying to end her career. So now, the big question is, do you believe the allegations against Jay-Z? And what do you think about Nicki Minaj calling out his shady behavior all these years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out this other messy video to keep up with the drama. Oh, right. You watched the drama?